So this is just picking out that we're seeing patterns between the plain text and the ciphertext, and it's recognizable. The same character in the plain text yields the same character in the ciphertext at that position. So all of that combined with what was on the previous slide kind of indicates to you that it's a stream cipher. Because again, you're not seeing entire blocks changing at a time. You're seeing single byte changes. So what we need to do to really crack a stream cipher is to figure out what the keystream is. Remember from the original slide, we have the plain text, it gets XORed with the keystream, and you get the ciphertext. So we want to figure out what the keystream is, because that's kind of like the keys to the kingdom in this case. So you take one of those tokens, the encrypted tokens, you XOR, that's the part of the token that we think corresponds to the statement number. So we just XOR them together. And theoretically, if it's a stream cipher, what you get out of that XOR should be part of the keystream. That's a theory at this point. So then we take that same thing, we take that 10 bytes of keystream that we have, we XOR it back with a different token, just to kind of make sure that what we get out of that XOR operation matches up with the plaintext statement ID that we expect to get out of it. So just to kind of see if, okay, maybe this actually is keystream. And that checks out. When you XOR it back, you get back the statement number that you expect to get. So now it gets a little bit more interesting. You take that same keystream, that same 10 bytes. Now we don't have the whole keystream, we just have 10 bytes of it because that's the only part that we figured out so far. And we take that partial keystream and we XOR it with a different token. So remember I said that there's a statement token, there's a file token, and there's all sorts of different tokens that the application was using. So now we XOR it, our partial keystream with one of those tokens, and we see what comes out. And it comes out as ASCII, which again, these things don't happen by coincidence. It all comes out as alphanumeric. Okay, well that's interesting because, if you've ever watched, Wheel of Fortune, you can kind of fill in the blanks and kind of figure out what's on either side of this. And especially seeing as the link that we clicked on that corresponds to this token was the personal information link, right? So that helps too if you couldn't figure it out otherwise. So now you kind of extrapolate. So you say, okay, well I think that the plain text for this section of the token reads personal information. So I just fill that in and I XOR that with that token, and what I get out is more keystream. So because I've kind of extrapolated the plain text there, I've now got something like 10 more bytes of keystream. So now I have 20 bytes. Great. Repeating that because I've got all these different tokens to work with. They're reusing this keystream all over the place in the application. So I can just these tokens and XOR them with my known key material and just keep growing the amount I know of the keystream. So I do it with a different one called file, and I get out this string. It helps to know that we're in a section of the application clicking through it called paychecks, or called, actually it's a help section, it's called the help center, and it's the section about paychecks. So you extrapolate that. File retrieval here too, because they're passing just an encrypted file name in and pulling that off the server side, so it's actually another vulnerability. But for the purposes of this, it gets us 6 more bytes of keystream. So you just keep repeating that over and over again until you have not the whole keystream, because like I said before, the keystream can go on and on forever, but you get enough of the key to where you can decrypt anything in the application. In this case, it was about 200 bytes of key is as much as we needed. So then we want to figure out, again, now that we can do that, what's the actual attack? Well, the attack is being able to create tokens of your own. So what if I want to look at somebody else's bank statement? I want to be able to do an attack to where all I need to know is the statement number, and then I create my own fake statement token using what I know about the crypto, pass that in, and hope that the application returns back to me that person's statement. So I decrypt some of the statement tokens, and you can see I listed 5 of them there. That's actually what's inside it. Don't know what most of those numbers are, but you can see that in the third field there, delimited by the pipes, is the statement number. And the other stuff, I don't know. They might be user IDs, no idea, but I know the part that we care about. So in theory, we should be able to take one of those and simply replace the token number, the statement number with another statement number that we know is valid, or just iterate across until we find one, and then view the contents. It didn't work. So then we looked at the token a little bit more and realized that at the end there was actually, it was not numeric, it was actually 4 bytes of base 64 encoded stuff. If you base 64 decode it, that's what you get in parentheses. So it looked like some sort of integrity check, except when we looked up kind of what sort of integrity check is there that generates 24 bits, we realized that it was just it was a CRC24 algorithm, which is not intended for, it's intended to detect transmission errors, not to be an integrity check to prevent against manipulation. So there was like 10 lines of code on Google that you could find for a reference implementation of CRC24. So now we can calculate that part too. So once we did that, it worked. So all you have to do is take a token that you found, decrypt it, change the statement number, calculate the CRC using reference code, encrypt it back using the keystream that you know, and then base 64 encode it to become a statement token. And then that worked because all the pieces kind of fell into place. All the things that the application was looking for matched up properly. So again, the thing to really take away from this, if nothing else, is that we're able to subvert the encryption mechanism of this application without, again, ever knowing what algorithm it was that they used, ever really knowing what key got fed into the RC4 algorithm, or it turned out to be RC4, we found out later, but all we knew was the keystream. We didn't know what the actual key was, but that's fine, and we didn't know any details of how this was implemented. We just looked at the patterns, and we looked for similarities and start changing things and see what happens. So this was RC4. It was a unique key generated for each user session that ended up not really mattering, as you see. And the root cause, again, is the fact that they reuse the same keystream to encrypt a lot of different stuff. You're not supposed to do that. Stream cipher, you're supposed to generate a keystream, and you're supposed to use it to encrypt one thing, and that's it. And they were reusing it all over the place. So that was the bad practice that led to this sort of attack. And then the fact that what they had for an integrity check was a CRC24, which is not intended to be an integrity check. There's nothing secret about it. It was a reference algorithm, so it really didn't add any security. So that's the second case study. Happy to take questions. We have about -1 minute for questions. And I think the beer starts coming out soon, so that will probably make it even less possible. But contact information. Sorry?
Maybe not the beer, but the raffle.
Oh, the raffle. Okay. Well, clearly some things are more important than others. So contact information, I'll be up here afterwards as well. I'll take a couple of questions if people want to ask them.
Can you apply the same techniques for like file encryption?
For file encryption, I mean, you could certainly look at encrypted files and do the same sort of heuristics and see if the same block appeared, like the ECB sort of thing. If you saw, and actually in files that actually might be pretty applicable because you might have a lot of white space in files, right? So if you had eight space characters getting encrypted and you kept seeing that same block reappear over and over in the file, the encrypted file, yeah, that would tell you that they were using that mode. So yeah, absolutely. Was there one more? No? Yep.
With the first attack, the ECB, if the username you want to steal fit within a block, would you then not have been able to perform a similar attack? Because then you wouldn't be able to pick part of the...
Yeah, if it had been like a, let me think about it. Yeah, if it had been like a 5-byte or a 6-byte username where it all would have fit in that first block, then yeah, we wouldn't be able to do that because we wouldn't have been able to create an account by that name. So yeah, exactly. So in this case, we were lucky that it was 7 characters or longer. So, okay, thank you.